Alright, hello everybody again. Another blast from the past. White side Vladimir Makogonov and black side Botvinnik from 1943. So we go with the d4, d5, c4, e6. Queen's gambit declined. So knight c3 and then c6. So we get this triangle set up, which is very flexible. Still can take there. We can play there. Can even go f5 and turn it into a stone wall. Very flexible, but definitely one of the threats in a way is to just grab the pawn, and we have played c6, so we can play b5 and hold on to it. Well, white did not want to have anything to do with that. Defends the pawn. The downside, of course, is that, alright, we have been locked in, but so is this counterpart here. Well, I guess these are the counterparts, but at least the light squared bishop for black is locked into. Oh, black plays knight f6, normal. White does same, normal. Knight bd7. We don't really care about piling up things in front of the bishop since we already blocked it in here. It is intending to come out this way eventually with some kind of a d takes c, b5 tempo play. Well, normal moves here are like queen c2, bishop d3. Queen c2 is more of a waiting move. Bishop d3 is in a way saying that I don't care, just take it and I'll let you have your tempos. I get my center. But in a game we get knight e5 instead. Something different. Well, pop. White takes back and knight is attacked. Jumps backwards. So pawn is hanging. We play f4. Well, if we have ever learned anything, never play f4, except when it's good. And Botvinnik comes out with a bishop, with ideas or designs on this square here, and I'll try to eliminate one of the defenders. So here Makogonov takes on d5. Botvinnik thinks he should have played bishop d2 in a way that then we want to reply to c. For instance, d takes c. We will go knight here, aiming at this square, and well, if black takes, there it takes, then this looks a nice outpost for things, even though it did cost us a pawn maybe. But definitely not taking here because of the pop. And then pop. We lose the bishop back, and then our position is just horrible. Anyways, white did not want to deal with anything. It just defines the pawn structure and then puts the bishop on d3. Aggressive. Well, we instantly take advantage of that and jump knight c5. Here, white maybe should have just let things go, bishop go and castle, even though that is definitely not ideal. But very naturally, they want to keep the light squared bishop. That looks really good. But then the queen f4 starts to hurt us. f4 check. White played g3 and the queen is invading. Also supporting bishop f5s, where we're kind of trading all the light square defenders away and then hopefully plunk a beautiful knight there. But this is definitely also a big threat incoming. Well, white dealt with that with the king f2 bravely into the fire. Stops any nonsense here. Well, then we get our elimination play. Pop. Knight is killed. Now there's only a bishop to defend this. Pop. Bishops are traded. Now there is a beautiful outpost here. And white did not want to die just in a passivity. He goes for crazy with g4, hoping that we might get the queen into e4 where the knight can't jump there. Botvinnik says no. And it's the queen to e6. Well, white puts the bishop to a nice diagonal here, but the knight does appear on e4. Oh, king is going upwards. No worries in the world. This might have been okay, but why go pawn hunting when you can go attacking? h5, bang. White is trying to keep things close with h3. This king is in a kind of a vulnerable position, so we're trying to keep it closed. And black is saying, no, let's open things up. f6. Well, white starts to blast in the center. We get the h takes g, h6, rook takes, queen takes, and then we castle into safety. Now there is quite a lot of difference in the king's safety at least. Alright, white is trying though. Rook d1. Black takes, bang. Obviously we're trying to uncover white king. Well, white takes there and tries to do the same. And they do succeed in a little way. We get the check-in. Hooray! Alright, black says, okay. We got the check-in. And then we go harass the rook. Well, Botvinnik decides that this is the square to be in. Well, bishop is covering that, and that allows rook trade. We might want the rook still on the board if we're checkmating white. Well, white is saying let's keep things closed and bypasses the pawn. And Botvinnik goes queen f7. This was also possible, but this is more like keeping the queen out of here, and idea is pretty natural. Computer like this one here, but it gets a little murky with them. This one, and then he wants to defend the rook here and play here and attack on these guys here. This is much more human-like, I think. And also keeps more control of things. Alright, rook c2. Takes away some checks from the knight. And then black follows up with the g6, trying to cork things up. Well, white plays bishop b2. We can't really take here, and everything is kind of looking miserable. So Botvinnik didn't do anything about this yet. And well, maybe there was a little bit of a trapperoni here in a way that now you can't take back because of pop. Not good. So first we make a luft here. White gets out of the pin, and black situates his king to a7 first. No hurry in the world. Well, white lines up with this guy here, and black just defends it with take. Queen takes, hit the pawn. White defends that, and then rook comes to f8, threatens horrible things, and here white says you can do it. He could have maybe tried to keep the queen's own, but it's miserable. Queen b4, 6 for instance, and then let's say you defend it with the bishop. Queen can come here, threatens to, well, almost, well, I guess it's made in 2 thread. It's very nasty. Also, this check is coming, and well, basically it's a horror show. So in a game, white decided to, instead of trying to hold on to things. Takes a pawn and then intends to take here. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, sorry. So no bang yet. We draw in betweener here. Bang. Well, here obviously you cannot go into a8 because you get checkmated, and if maybe if you go b8 you get checked again, and then things go on. So black drew in b6 and white checks, and then comes here. We are threatening discoveries, etc, etc. So black's intention here is, we'll take your discovery, and then we'll take the bishop, of course, and then the rook. Well, hop, bishop drops back, same ideas. Also there is like if black does something completely stupid, like let's say random queen here, now you can move the rook c4, bang, king has to go somewhere, bang, bang, bang. This is not so good, as the knight can block, and then this is not a check, and this blocks this, so the king escapes. But if you do it on this side, then there is no blockage with the knight, and the king is in a perpetual net here in the corner. Nothing you can do about it. Alright, so after this, Botvinnik had seen things and he threw in knight d5. Now, if you take pop, not so good. So they played rook e7. Now it's definitely a goner. But meanwhile, Botvinnik, well, he sidestepped this here and pops the pawn. Now it's rook, bishop, and the pawn versus three pawns and the queen. Well, particularly these guys are the nasty winning trump, and there is no real danger to the king anymore. Oh, white played quite a long while still. Check. King goes out of the corner, then it's in the clear. This is pretty desperate. Pawns start to march in. Pop, pop. Some random poppage here. Defending this with another fork here. Tricky, tricky. So white king decides that I already did one king run in this game. Let's do another one. But basically it's completely hopeless, so what else? Why not bring the king to f6? Come up with some kind of a mating net here and win the game. Well, obviously it's hopeless. Black just marches on. Here he just ignores the threat to win the queen back. Pop, pop, b3. Can't be stopped, and there is a new queen on the board soon. White finally resigned. I thought this was quite a nice maneuvering, well, positional game where we just honed on one weakness here. Killed both defenders, planted a piece there, and then squeezed. Anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time. Ciao.